That strength runs in your veins.
What the hell do you think you're doing?
It's in all Dupree women. We don't back down from a challenge.
Well, folks, I'm very excited because next week we got some major Naomi storylines going. The thing I'm most excited to see, as well as a majority of the fan base, is the fact that Naomi will be going head to head with her father, considering that these three women who were former employees of the firm were all terminated within a month. And this is because Mike, one of the partners at the firm, they're claiming various cases of sexual harassment. And when they did bring it up to HR, they were all terminated within a month because during their next review, with the company, all of a sudden they were all labeled as being subpar employees and got the boot. And they asked Naomi to represent them and basically sue her father. Now, there are two things to take away from this. Number one, it's going to lead to the Hayley showdown, which I'm excited for. But then also, fans are speculating, and for good reason, are these women, are they aiming to use Naomi on purpose? Because thankfully Naomi did say, look, wait a minute, there are plenty of lawyers in this town, and you just so happen to pick me because I'm Bill Hamilton's daughter. And, they say, well, look, here's the thing. We went to all these other lawyers, but your father has a lot of influence and pull over people, and they don't want to go against him in court. So, and to be honest, it really is compelling. This is a soap opera, so it's just one of those things where you can't fully put your trust in somebody you just met. And I'm speaking not just from an audience perspective, an audience member's perspective, but from the character perspective of someone in this show. Because what I'm nervous about with Naomi, because she does bring up the fact to Jacob, like, if I do this, I wonder if I'll be, put in the hot seat because like news and, media outlets and social media might say something to the effect of, oh, well, Naomi is just using these women's sexual harassment trauma in order to fuel her own vendetta against her father for cheating on, her mother and this, that, and the third. But at the same time, in the social climate we're in today with allegations and everything being a hot topic issue or a hot button issue, this could expose him even more for being a terrible person, not just in his personal life, but in his professional life. Now, even though, Bill isn't the one who's being charged with these cases of misconduct, of inappropriate behavior at the job to female employees, it's the fact that Mike is a partner at the firm. So his actions are going to be a reflection to the actions of Bill's company and what's, frowned upon versus what is just, let swept under the rug. And I do like how one of the women did say, you know what, to be fair to Bill, we don't know how much of this he knows or doesn't know. So, like Naomi said, like, hey, I know me and my father have our problems, but, and I would talk to him right now, but things are awkward between us. So I will say that, why don't you just talk to him about it? And like they said, it's like, even if we did, it's no doubt he wouldn't, think we're pulling something, because remember, Mike was the best man at his wedding. So who's he going to believe? But I think from, again, audience perspective, they did a brilliant job writing the scene where we briefly get to know Mike for the first time. I mean, we did, see him making some suggestive remarks about Hayley at the office, wedding party for Hayley and Bill. He's like, oh, look, I know Danny was a looker too, but Hayley, hot cha. It's like, if you don't sit your sleazy wannabe Pepe Le Pew ass down somewhere, Mike. But no, for real, they got, hey, kudos to the actor that plays Mike, because he has that sleazy, just grimy roll down to a T. And I really do think that Bill doesn't know. I honestly don't think Bill knows, because notice how quickly he shut down Mike trying to, interrogate Tomas about his quote unquote performance with Kat during their date. And when he makes a comment about Hayley as she leaves the room, like Bill's like, hey, now you could argue, well, Jeremy, I think there's a major difference between how Bill reacts to Mike making suggestive comments about his wife and his, well, even though they aren't, related by marriage anymore, to an extent, I think that Kat is almost like a daughter to him because, like he said, I know her since she was an infant. And given that, his youngest daughter, Chelsea, is best friends with Kat being her cousin, I think that he is protective over her, just like, Chelsea. So I think that's very interesting. And I do like the detail on top of that where Tomas is like, hey, even though you aren't married to the Duprees anymore, I did want to kind of check with you first about, going on a date with Kat. So yeah, Bill is a piece of work, but he does have a bit of dignity in him. Like, I don't want to give him too much credit, but I give credit where credit is due. But I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me if Bill and Mike, checked out women. Like, let's say, if it's just the fellas at the firm going out for a drink, probably clocking females from across the bar, that kind of thing. But there's a limit on everything. But I don't know. I'm very, very unclear on whether or not these women are telling the truth. I feel like there might be some truth to what they said, but keep in mind the fact that they were all terminated within a month for flimsy reasons of subpar performance. I feel like that's legit. So Naomi, my concern is it isn't necessarily about how the public might perceive her taking this case. I hope that she takes the necessary time to consider all of her options before making a decision, because we know how much hatred she has towards her father and Hayley. So I hope she isn't allowing her emotions about her father cloud her judgment, and then she jumps on this case out of vengeance as opposed to justice. It's kind of like that age-old debate about, man, why doesn't Batman kill? It's like, hey, I don't deal out, vengeance. Well, I mean, he is vengeance, but it's all about justice. He is in the Justice League, by the way. I don't know. But I just feel like when it boils down to it, we will see what Naomi is made of. This is going to be a big case for her, especially if she manages to win. It's kind of a 4 birds or 6 birds, 1 stone. 1 for each of the women, 1 against her father, 1 against Hayley, and justice for her mom. So I like how not only did she talk to Jacob about it, but in the promo, we're going to see her talk to her grandmother about it. And Anita's going to remind her that, look, you got the pre-blood running through your veins, and us the pre-women, we don't back down from a challenge. And then that's when Hayley confronts her at Uptown, like, what the hell are you doing? Man, Naomi could say, well, I could say the same thing of when you were sleeping with my father. Huh? What the hell were you doing? So I love this. I love this, and I can't wait to see how things unfold. I just hope that Naomi doesn't, bite off more than she can chew. And not to mention seeing Bill on the back foot. I mean, it's bad enough Danny's been pulling all this underhanded stuff, but given that we get to see his daughter attempt to beat Bill at his own game, and I wonder if he's going to try some underhanded tactics because my biggest thing is like, I hope Bill doesn't utilize his, tactics of favors, bribes, and blackmail. Like, how do we know he won't try to settle out of court or, blackmail these women somehow, some way? Because, like I said, I want to give him somewhat of the benefit of the doubt that he did not know about Mike's inappropriate behavior. But it shouldn't come to any surprise considering how he acts just with the fellas. But I don't know. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below about Naomi and Hayley's showdown. Will Naomi go against, her father? Because we do have a moment where they confront each other in Bill's office. Then Tomas rushes in saying, hey, sorry, boss, but this is too important. It couldn't wait. So I wonder what that update is. So, yeah. But I feel like Naomi might not talk to her mom about this because, Danny's going to be like, baby girl, take that bastard for all he's got. Do it. Please do it for me. Do it for your mama. Yeah, but hey, like and subscribe, and I'll catch you all later.